Hey Krishna, welcome all of you for our weekly Bhagavatam class, Saturday evening Bhagavatam class. So we are in the midst of the second canto, second chapter. We are in the midst of the second chapter. Complete to verse number 17, so we'll start from verse number 18. Can anyone read? Verse number 18.
Prabhuji,
Yeah,
okay.
is this okay now?
Yeah, better. The transcendentalists desire to avoid everything godless, for they know that supreme situation in which everything is related with the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, a pure devotee who is in absolute harmony with the Lord does not create perplexities, but worships the lotus feet of the Lord at every moment, taking them into his heart.
Take one more verse.
By the strength of the scientific knowledge, one should be well situated in absolute realization and thus be able to extinguish all material desires. One should then give up the material body by blocking the air hole through which stool is evacuated with the heel of one's foot and by lifting the life air from one place to another in the six primary places.
Okay, now Lord is going to describe how the yogis leave the body. How the yogis leave the body through the Brahmarandra, how they leave the body. इसके ऊपर पूरा description देने वाला है. So before that, we will understand verse number 18 a little more. The transcendentalists desire to avoid everything godless. Now, what is this? Godless. जब सब कुछ भगवान से ही उत्पत्ति हुई है, how can there be godlessness? बराबर ना? ये धरती भी भगवान ने बनाई है, ईंट, सीमेंट, रेती, पानी, हवा, everything has been made by God. So how can you avoid everything or anything which is godless? Come on, very simple. Please understand, if something is used for your personal entertainment, for your personal achievement, rather than connecting you to God, then you have to consider it as godless. फूल है, कुछ फूल लाश के ऊपर डालते हो, कोई मर गया तो उसके ऊपर डालते हो, कुछ फूल दरवाजे पे लगते हैं, कुछ फूल भगवान के गले में लगते हैं, कुछ मंत्री के गले में भी लगते हैं. Now, which you will consider as godless? That which is going on the dead body is of no use. That going in the neck of someone who is of no use might be on the head of a prostitute. That flower has no value. But that same flower, when applied to God, when it is placed in the lotus feet of the Lord or the neck, around the neck of the Lord, then it becomes valuable. So how do we understand this? There is nothing called godless. Things become godless when they are not applied the right focus. जब भगवान की तरफ न लगाते हुए आप किसी और चीज पे उसको लगाओगे तो वो गॉडलेस ही होगा, गॉड नहीं होगा, गॉडलेस होगा. एंड व्हाई इट विल बी गॉडलेस? वेरी सिंपल. Unless and until something is not used for the purpose of achieving God. Like for example, I got intelligence, you got intelligence. If we apply our intelligence not in achieving God or in serving God, what is the use of that intelligence? What is the use of this body? Every component given to us, every factor given to us is for the service of the Lord or to achieve the Lord. But when you use it for not achieving God, but for your sense pleasure or for your ego or for your happiness, then this is dangerous. So that is why it is said transcendentalists, those transcendentalists मतलब क्या है, कोई बहुत complicated word लग रहा है, but actually very simple. एक spiritual with those who are spiritual desire to avoid everything godless, for they know the supreme situation in which everything is related with the supreme Vishnu. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. This is a perfect definition of a ज्ञानी. एक ज्ञानी उस पोजीशन पे रहता है, he understands everything as God. एवरीथिंग हैज गॉड. एक कागज है, वो भी भगवान की वजह से वो कागज के शेप में है. जोर से बारिश आएगा, कागज पिघल के गिर जाएगा. क्या आग लगेगी तो जल जाएगा. So everything that exists is because of God, related to the Supreme Vishnu. Therefore, a pure devotee who is in absolute harmony with the Lord does not create perplexity. Perplexity मतलब confusion. लोगों के अंदर बहुत सारा confusion होता है. Some confusion is, चलो, why not we have क्या बोलते हैं, God is not giving some इशारा. Many people come and tell me, तो मुझे कभी कभी भगवान इशारा देना चाहिए ना कि मैं हूँ, मेरे साथ कनेक्टेड है. तो कोई फूल गिरना चाहिए हाथ से, तो माला गिरना चाहिए, कोई बंची ऐसा टेढ़ा होना चाहिए. Why you want God to prove his existence? When you are existing, he is also existing. No, your existence itself is a proof of his existence. पर वो नहीं होता तो आप कहां से आते? आप क्या कर रहे हैं? उस अर्च विग्रह में ये सब देखना चाहते हैं. एंड देन यू आर क्रिएटिंग perplexity. You're creating confusion. You're creating bewilderment. You're creating doubt. Doubt about God's execution, existence. Every aspect is created. And why? Because you are equally involved in godless things as much as you are involved in godly things. Things which are connected to God, उसमें भी हमको रस लेना है, और things which are not connected to God, उसमें भी रस लेना है. दोनों चीजों में रस नहीं ले सकते. You can't hold, travel in two boats simultaneously. You have to shift to only one boat. Either become a pure materialistic person, start enjoying material life, no problem. The law of karma takes over, no problem. Or totally become a spiritually inclined person. But the problem is, we want to travel in both the boats. So that is the problem. So that is why, without any perplexity, such a person worships the lotus feet of the Lord at every moment, taking them to be here into his heart. किस चीज के बारे में बात हो रहा है? किस भगवान के बारे में बात हो रहा है यहाँ पे? Anyone remembers? लंबा गैप में यही प्रॉब्लम. पहले क्या पढ़ा था भूल जाए. अरे, the four-handed form of the Lord within the heart. We remember material things. किसी से 10 रुपए लेना वो याद रहे. वेरी नाइसली वी कैन रिमेम्बर कि और उससे 10 रुपए लेना बाकी, वो दिया नहीं, कभी एक महीना पहले दिया था उसको, बट एक हफ्ता पहले जो पढ़ा था वो याद नहीं. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, we are talking about the supreme personality of Godhead, that is God, the four-handed form sitting in the region of the of the heart. Please understand. Now when you come to 9, now 19, 20, 21, you read couple of verses together, Mataji. Please repeat from 19.
Okay. By the strength of scientific knowledge, one should be well situated in absolute realization and thus be able to extinguish all material desires. One should then give up the material body by blocking the air hole through which the stool is evacuated with the heel of one's foot and by lifting the life air from one place to another in the 6 primary places. The meditative devotee should slowly push up the life air from the navel to the heart, from there to the chest, and from there to the root of the palate. He should search out the proper places with intelligence. Thereafter, the bhakti yogi should push the life air up between the eyebrows and then blocking the 7 outlets of the life air. He should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead. If he is completely free from all desires for material enjoyment, he should then reach the cerebral hole and give up his material connections, having gone to the Supreme.
Yes, this is the process, full process. हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, कुंडली चक्र आपको एक्टिवेट करो, ये करो, वो करो. This is what is. First and foremost, life air can get out of any of the holes in the body, but in the ear, nose, mouth, anus, genitals, anywhere, even the eyes. But it is said, pure transcendence, जिसका भी कोई इच्छा नहीं बाकी. His desire is only God, nothing more than God. I'll tell you a small example, give you a small example to understand God and his desire and how soul should behave. That I'm just writing the Rama and Aranyakand, reached Panchavati. So I traveled the entire Ramayana with Lord Ram. So I've reached Panchavati, Lord Ramchandra ji, Lakshman, Sita. They enter Panchavati, they meet Jatayu and Jatayu का साथ दोस्ती के बारे में सब बताया गया है. And then I've described the whole how Jatayu became a friend of Darshat Maharaj, everything I've explained. And then he turns to Lakshmana. He turns to Lakshmana and he tells him, Lakshmana, you are very expert, very smart, very intelligent. You search for a nice place over here and let's build a hut over there. Hermitage, cottage, whatever you want. बना लो, बढ़िया बना. So he says, Lakshmana says, I know only to obey, I don't know how to think. What does he say? I can only be an attendant. Attendant means I can only obey orders. I can't give orders. If I tell you यहाँ पे बांधना है, that means I'm giving an order. He says, I don't want, you tell me the place where to build the house, I'll build the house. Building is my job. That is, I'll do the hard work. But I can't decide. And he's saying, I can't decide even if I live with you for 100 years. Now, what does this imply? Small word, 100 years. Familiarity breeds contempt. It's an old English saying. ज़्यादा करीबीपन या intimacy जिसे कहते हैं. What happens because of that? आपका वैल्यू घट जाता है. आपका वैल्यू घट जाता है. People start taking you lightly. They don't take you seriously. It's a core fact. People can understand this. अगर किसी से आप महीने में एक बार मिलते हो या 6 महीने में एक बार मिलते हो, you meet him with nice gesture of love and all that. And अगर कोई सुबह दोपहर शाम 3 टाइम मिलता रहेगा, कोई टाइम नहीं है, जा शाम को बात करेंगे. We say like that. Why do we say? Because we are familiar होते हैं, 3 टाइम मिलते रहते हैं यार. बने तो शाम को बात कर लेंगे, सुबह दे दे शाम को ले लेता हूँ मैं. Something that भले he may be a big person, valuable person or a learned person, you tend to lose familiarity. That is the reason why Lakshmana says, Ramchandra ji, आपके साथ भले मैं 100 साल रह लूं, but I will still not take any decision of my own. Well, when I have a will, then I will have a desire. If I have a desire, my desire will not be in alignment with God. God's desire and my desire, there will be definitely some difference, which I cannot want to take that difference. So that is why here God is telling, Ramchandra says, really you are great. And after that, immediately what he does, Ramchandra ji studies and tells him this place is very nice, build a hut over here. And within short time, he builds a very beautiful hut. Does the Graha Pravesh Puja, so to say, offers lotus flowers and all the rituals. And then he shows it to Ram and Sita. And that time, Ramchandra ji embraces him. Very similar to the embrace which he gave to Hanuman ji after coming back from Lanka with the news of Sita. So Acharyas again say, see, when you execute the will of the Lord, Lord embraces you. What does the meaning of embrace you? He gives himself to you. वो अपने आप को ही आपको आपके हवाले कर देते. क्यों? उसके एवज में आप कुछ ले नहीं रहे हो. When you are doing a priceless सेवा, what happens? तो क्या करेगा वो बंदा, बेचारा क्या करेगा? सेवा कर रहा है और पैसा नहीं ले रहा है. So what do you do? You have no other option than to giving yourself, because Lord says, I never like to be indebted. Lord never wants to be indebted. He always wants to be in a serving mood. So that's why Lord said, okay, when you don't want anything, even Hanumanji also did not take anything from him. So what did he do? He embraced. This is the greatness of God. By God wants people to serve him without any personal motive or personal way of getting their work done. Just serve me as per my will. How will you know God's will? कैसा मालूम पड़ेगा आपको भगवान का विल? What is God's will, by the way? Yes, Sudirba Janvi Devadasi, Janva Devi Dasi. Please tell me.
अरे
How
so प्रभु जी जो भगवत गीता में फॉलो अस्त्र शास्त्र जो भगवान बता रहे हैं वो फॉलो किए तो
अच्छा, रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन से भगवान मिले नहीं अच्छे से. रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन से भगवान किसी को नहीं मिले. You can never get God as per rules and regulations. Rules and regulations are the starting principles of devotion. If the rules and regulations से भगवान मिलते हैं तो करमेती भाई को कभी भगवान नहीं मिलते. तो खिचड़ी भगवान के लिए खिचड़ी बनाती थी बिना नहाए. दातुन से अपना ब्रश करती थी, उसी दातुन से खिचड़ी को भी हिलाती थी. One end she used to mix खिचड़ी, and the other end she used to brush her teeth. Is that a rule to make God भोगा?
5 रसा में भगवान के साथ से संबंध जो रसा है ना प्रभु जी 5 रसा
पहले
रसा
पॉइंट तो
के
समझ लो. आप दूसरे पॉइंट पे कूदने के पहले पॉइंट तो समझ लो. सनातन गोस्वामी क्या करते थे? थोड़ा सा आटा लेके आते थे, तो गोला करके भगवान को ऑफर करते बिना नमक. तो भगवान मिले उसको. He didn't follow any rules and regulations. यहाँ तक बोल दिया भाई नमक चाहिए, you arrange. I cannot arrange. I told you we are happy in Chobe's house. You should have been there only. Why you came? He's firing God, shouting at God. So please, I am not asking you to go out of rules and regulations. No, nowhere I am guiding with that. What I am trying to say is to achieve God. Merely getting stuck to rules and regulations is no, you cannot achieve any result. Now you are talking of rasas. किस रस किस भाव में आप भगवान के साथ जुड़ना चाहेंगे? Is that what is it's a process. आप भगवान को किस एंगल से देखते हो? अगर आप भगवान को अपना बच्चा समझते हो, then वात्सल्य भाव और वात्सल्य रस. आप उसको अपना बॉयफ्रेंड समझते हो, then it is माधुर्य भाव. So in what way you think we can achieve that?
प्रभु जी दास रस
Dasya ras. That is also one of the ras bhav. You say, I am your servant, you are the supreme, मैं आपका नौकर हूँ, मैं आपका सेवा करूंगा. You all have never understood the formula of achieving. Anybody else wants to try? Nobody else wants to try.
Want to try? ना जो गट फीलिंग होता है, लाइक एज यू सेड कि हर किसी के हर इंसान के अंदर परमात्मा होता है. सो आपको जो अंदर से आवाज आती है, मतलब जो आपको लगता है फीलिंग जो कनेक्ट होता है, सो दैट वे यू कैन कनेक्ट विद गॉड. मतलब गट फीलिंग.
और भगवान का आवाज अंदर से नहीं आया तो no connection.
point.
Yes, Chandrakant Prabhu is ready, waiting to answer. Yes, Praveen, you answer first. And Chandrakant is ready with the correct answer. Boliye, Praveen.
As you said, there are four types of devotees, Artho, Jigyasu, or Jnani. So Jnani is one who is very dear to the God because he
Yeah.
knows its totality. So
He knows
he
because Lord is Vasudevam Sarvamiti.
so he knows him totality. So that's so he understood the process or he knows the process to achieve the God. So those who have a knowledge, he might, but that person can
Prabhu,
the God.
knowledge,
Having a knowledge
knowledge, knowledge.
process.
1 minute. Knowledge is for transformation. Knowledge is not to achieve God. Knowledge is meant to give some transformation in a person. So that's not the right answer. Yes, Chandrakant Prabhu.
I'll just think over it. I'm getting stuck.
Achha. Fine.
Just
No
give me
problem.
5 minutes. Yes.
Yes. Anyone else? Anjana Mataji will definitely be in a position to answer. I'm sure about it. ललिता माता जी आपको क्या लगता है भगवान कैसे मिलेंगे एक माता जी बोल रही है रूल्स स्ट्रिक्ट रूल्स को फॉलो करके सुबह 4 बजे उठ के मंगला आरती करके ये सब करके सिस्टम से रहेंगे और टाइम टू टाइम भोग ऑफर करेंगे और सब करेंगे तो वैसे भगवान मिलेंगे बाद में बोल रही है नहीं नहीं रस भाव से जुड़ना चाहिए
Prabhuji, by engaging in the Navavidha Bhakti, any one of the Navavidha Bhakti, in one of the 9 devotional,
माता जी नवविधा भक्ति में से वन नहीं
कोई सा तो
इट इज a state of progress. It is like if you say from KG, from nursery to PhD, कोई भी एक पढ़ाई तो किया होगा ना नहीं चलेगा पढ़ाई का लेवल्स है श्रवणम कीर्तनम विष्णु स्मरणम पाद सेवनम अर्चनम वंदनम दास्यम साक्ष्यम आत्मनिवेदनम these are progressive levels.
Yes, sir.
One cannot directly say I will forget about shravanam and kirtanam. I will directly do atmanivedanam.
No, Prabhuji.
Not possible. Is it possible?
No.
Without listening about God, without chanting the name of the Lord, directly can I do? Any of the 9 is not possible at all. Because 9 is progressive. You can achieve God only from starting from the base step by listening about God. By listening to his Leelas, that too properly understanding it. Listening is just the beginning, and after listening, you have to contemplate on it. Then Kirtanam, then Vishnu Smaranam. Thinking about God. After listening to all that, oh, हाँ, प्रभु जी ने बोला था वासुदेव सर्वमिति. Yes, I can see God everywhere. I can see God in everyone. So it's like progress. It is not another line. Yes, anybody else? Yes, Priya Mataji now will answer.
Prabhuji, once we have surrendered, once we have surrendered, then we have achieved God. Then alag se, I don't know.
Surrendered God, you have to achieve God. Can surrender? See, surrender is undoubtedly not questionable. It is 100% you have to surrender. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam bhaja. The first line क्या समझ में आता है सर्व धर्मान परित्यज्य what do you understand from the first line giving up all religions I don't want to go into the detail of that verse because नहीं तो उसमें चला जाऊंगा तो उसमें पूरा लेक्चर खत्म हो जाएगा so let's understand this सर्व धर्मान परित्यज्य giving up all our duties responsibilities or our religion whatever it is here actually Dharma means duties. Mam ekam sharanam raj. मुझे अकेले को शरण में आ जाओ. What? Acha, now we are so that you said surrender. What happens when you surrender? Come on, let me give me a more detail on that. What happens when we surrender?
Uh, our decisions are made by God, and we are in receiving mode, and we are not in controlling mode.
माता जी, अभी मैंने आपको 2 मिनट पहले एक स्टोरी सुनाई लक्ष्मण जी की. बराबर सुनाई कि नहीं?
हाँ हाँ.
What did you take? What was the take message from that?
Guruji, we don't have our free will.
We
No
don't
longer.
have. We surely
We
have.
did
We
not.
fully
We did
have.
not. If I have, but we don't exercise it. Yeah. We
don't exercise वाली बात ही नहीं है. Most important, मयि एव मन आदत्स्व मयि बुद्धिर्निवेशय. When you are, what did Lakshmana do? What did Lakshmana do? He was asked, you're intelligent. What did Ramchandra ji? That's why I said the story fully. Ramchandra ji said, you are very intelligent, very smart. So please survey this area and which area is good. And he gives a clue also. So we should be not very far away from our water source, but it should not be very close also. तो गोदावरी नदी के तट से रहना चाहिए, दूर भी नहीं, नजदीक भी नहीं. और अच्छा फल फूल होना चाहिए ताकि फल फूल तोड़ सके, समित मिले पूजा अपना हवन के लिए. इट शुड फुलफिल ऑल योर रिक्वायरमेंट. जैसे हम लोग एक फ्लैट देखने जाते हैं, क्या करेंगे? Suppose you have small children in the house, you will see the school is nearby, not very far off. Then, of course, the marketplace, nice, the theater, mall should be also not far off, and which suits a nice, people around, nice locality, whatever you call it. So, what does this mean? We are seeing all this through our mind and intelligence, right? अपना बुद्धि लगाते हैं ना भाई, ये फ्लोर अच्छा रहेगा, ये बिल्डिंग अच्छा रहेगा, नजदीक भी है, यहाँ पे भी एक्सेस इजी है, एयरपोर्ट भी नजदीक है और स्टेशन भी नजदीक है, like so many factors we use. Same condition was given to Lakshmana. By use your intelligence and which place is very good, not too far, not too close, मस्त जगह लेके आप ही बना दो. And full permission दिया भगवान ने. What did he say? I am your servant, attendant. I cannot think. You only tell me which is good. I will execute it. Execution also requires intelligence, mind you. Choosing alone doesn't require intelligence. Executing or building a house also requires intelligence. बराबर लकड़ा लगा के, बीम लगा के, उस पर रस्सी बांध के, पत्ता लगा के, it takes intelligence. Engineering work, what you call it as, to make a hut also. So how did he make it? What did he say? You tell me. Means what? My mind and intelligence are surrendered to you. That is surrender. हम लोग surrender किसको बोलते हैं surrender? Sorry to say, Mataji, giving up a free will means majburi. Helplessness. No, it's not helplessness. What is Sharanagati? What are the 6 symptoms of Sharanagati?
Anya Abhilashita Shunyam.
Then Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. No.
No. कृष्ण को जो पसंद है, that we have to adopt.
क्या है?
And
अनुकूल से संकल्प, प्रतिकूल से वर्जनम.
yes.
रक्षसी इति विश्वासो गोतृप्तेन वारण. कार्पण्य. षड्विधा शरणागति. So these are the symptoms. First and foremost, ये सब symptoms of शरणागति में क्या है? You don't exercise your desire, and desire comes from mind. So what is Lord again and again telling in the Bhagavad Gita? Not once, twice Lord says, give your mind to me. Give your mind to me. What is the meaning of giving your mind to me? Always think about me, how to achieve me, how to come to me. Then means you are actually investing your mind on. Later you are not investing your mind. Someone is baat karti. You have to always think about it. इसलिए, Krishna consciousness, God consciousness. Why we are saying we have to be conscious? Simple. Mind देना बोला तो कहते हैं अगर एक पक्षी उड़ती है ना, mother bird gives birth to a young one and is going for the food. How is the mother connected when it is flying in the air? It is always thinking, oh, I hope my child is safe. I hope no snake has come. I hope no other bird has come and picked it up. I hope no danger has come to this. I have to take this worm and give to my child. My child will be hungry. Forget about a bird, even a human mother. When the child is, when she has gone to the office, the lady must be thinking, oh, my child must be hungry. I should take my child. I should have, I wonder what my child was eating. I hope what I prepared, he liked it. I hope he's not hungry. I have to go home early and cook for him. What is the meaning? Mind is given on the child. हम लोग अक्सर हिंदी भाषा में बोल देते हैं ना, हमेशा बच्चे के बारे में सोचती रहती है, पति के बारे में सोचते रहता है. What does this mean? क्या पत्नी के बारे में सोचते रहते, मतलब what क्या? You are concerned about that person, and that concern is what is called as actually surrender. As always gives the example, a wife may give up a favorite vegetable of hers and take up a vegetable which is favorite to the husband, though it may not be favorable to her. That is love and surrender. But nowadays the modern system is different. I have my vegetable, you have your vegetable. Nowadays husband and wife have like that. But earlier days it was not that. That was surrender. That is surrender. When you give up your likings for the sake of the one whom you love very much, you don't have any desire. No, I will enjoy my vegetable. No, I don't like this vegetable. Fine. He's liking it. He is enjoying it. In his happiness, I find my happiness. That is love. That is surrender. That is dedication. And वो हम लोग के अंदर आता है. And that is what is here the meaning. That how a person who is totally in God consciousness, what does he do? He is able to close the life air, close the anus, then raise the life air up from the chest, prana vayu, up to the eyebrows, and from the eyebrows he moves it to the, what do you call this as fondile? A child के अंदर fondile बोलते हैं. ब्रह्मरंध्र इंग्लिश में रहता है, fondile बोलते हैं. यहां से सोल निकलना चाहिए. That is for a yogi. But the problem is, read verse number 22.
However, O king, if a yogi maintains a desire for improved material enjoyments, like transference to the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, or the achievement of the eightfold perfections, travel in outer space with the Vahiyasas, or a situation a situation in one of the millions of planets where he has to take away with him the materially molded mind and senses.
Problem is the mind. The problem is the mind. Now suppose his desires are still there. And desires are not material. गाड़ी चाहिए, बंगला चाहिए, बीवी चाहिए, बच्चे चाहिए. No. His desire is now transcendental desire, we call it. Or we call it superior desire. Though it is not superior, but we call it superior desire. And what is that? Improved material enjoyment. The heavenly planets may. Like, or transferred to topmost planets. Brahmalok, some higher planets, Satyalok and all those planets. Or achieving the eightfold perfection. That is Anima, Lagima,
अष्टसिद्धि
अष्टसिद्धीस। अगर उसको वो पाने की इच्छा है, वो भी इच्छा है, बिकॉज वो भी मेटेरियलिस्टिक है, स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में उसका कोई कार्य नहीं है। देयर इज नो जॉब फॉर अष्टसिद्धि। यू गो टू वैकुंठा विद अष्टसिद्धीस, इट्स ऑफ नो यूज। You have to go with humbleness and humility. So, the achievement of eightfold perfection, traveling in outer space, or a situation in one of the millions of planets. कोई भी planet में, कोई भी मेरा कोई भी एक ब्रह्मांड में किसी भी जगह में एक राजा बन के रहूं, that is also a position. Then he has to take away with him all the materially molded mind and senses. It will not take him to God. So, what is more important is not performing just austerities, not just performing your charity, not just performing your tapasyas and all those vratas and rules and regulations. Fine. Rules and regulations are to discipline a person. स्कूल में जब तक आप स्कूल में हो यूनिफॉर्म रहता है, कॉलेज में आते हैं यूनिफॉर्म क्यों नहीं रहता? अरे 12 साल से तो यूनिफॉर्म पहन रहा है, 10-12 साल से आदत हो गया ना। स्कूल में भी, ऑफिस में अपना इसमें पहन के जाना चाहिए। ऑफिस में भी एक तरह का यूनिफॉर्म हो जाता है, लाइक कोड हो जाता है, बट स्टिल देयर इज नो यूनिफॉर्म। व्हाई? नाउ यू हैव groomed yourself properly. There is no need for any rules to constrict. Similarly, though your free will was there in childhood, it is there in youthhood also. But you're supposed to be civilized. Log ho na ho, I am not debating on that topic now. I see many people moving around like Shukdev Goswami. So that's a different thing. But the point is, rules are for the initial level to get yourself focused. Lifelong, if you are stuck in rules and regulations, you are wasting your so-called life in the process of devotion. If you are not coming out of your rules and regulations and going a one step closer towards God, means you are stuck. And stuck means you're badly stuck. We guaranteed you are not going to go back to God. This will be one of your number of births, it will be one more birth. That's all. So that is why it is said, right? Better give up all material connections and having gone to the Supreme. Verse number 21, it clearly states, therefore, the Bhakti Yogi should push the life hair up between the eyebrows and then blocking the 7 outlets, ears, nose, eyes, mouth, all those outlets. नहीं तो वहां से प्राण निकला तो उसमें नहीं जाएगा. And he should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead. If he is completely free from all desires of material enjoyment, he should then reach the cerebral hole and give up his material connections, having gone to the Supreme. भगवान के पास जाने वाला व्यक्ति को कोई भी मैटेरियल कनेक्शंस होना नहीं चाहिए. एक भी डिजायर रह गया तो यू कैन नॉट रीच देयर. You have to be शून्य desire. And शून्य desire पाना is not a. Read verse number 20.
Okay, when such a mystic passes over the Milky Way by the illuminating
23.
23. Okay. The transcendentalists are concerned with the spiritual body. As such, by the strength of their devotional service, austerities, mystic power, and transcendental knowledge, their movements are unrestricted within and beyond the material worlds. The fruitative workers or the gross materialist can never move in such an unrestricted manner.
So what is happening? By your strong sadhana, a strong focus, it becomes a part of your life. It doesn't become a forced constraint. Like, a child doesn't want to get up in the morning at 6 o'clock and go to the school at 7 o'clock. But in due course of time. Generally, that is the attitude with which the school runs. Daily, when the child comes at 7 o'clock to the school, in due course of time, it becomes a routine. It does not need to be forced. It's a different thing. In the material world, things are different. They are not as expected as they are in the rule book. But that is a general process. Why you go to, you follow a certain routine, especially those going to office and all in time. Like 9 o'clock, I have to leave the house. 8 o'clock, I have to leave the house. It becomes a routine. Similarly, by following the austerities and penances, you become rigid, which a fruitive worker cannot. That is, a karmi cannot achieve, but you can definitely. Yes, verse number 24.
O king, when such a mystic passes over the Milky Way by the illuminating Sushumna to reach the highest
Shumna,
planet, sorry,
Shushumna.
Sushumna, Sushumna to reach the highest planet, Brahmaloka, he goes first to Vaishwanara, the planet of the deity of fire, wherein he becomes completely cleansed of all contaminations, and thereafter he still goes higher to the circle of Sisumara
Shumara.
to relate Shishumara to relate relate with Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead.
Reader, further.
This Shishumara is the pivot for the turning of the complete universe, and it is called navel of Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu. The yogi alone goes beyond this circle of Shishumara and attains the planet Maharloka, where purified saints like Brigu enjoy a duration of life of for
Long life.
long life of solar years. This planet is worshipable even for the saints who are transcendentally situated.
Continue.
At the time of the final devastation of the complete universe, the end of the duration of Brahma's life, a flame of fire emanates from the mouth of Ananta, from the bottom of the universe. The yogi sees all the planets of the universe burning to ashes, and thus he leaves for Satyaloka by airplanes used by the great purified souls. The duration of life in Satyaloka is calculated to
Still,
be
still larger.
Hmm.
Then
In that planet of Satyaloka, there is neither bereavement nor old age nor death. There is no pain of any kind, and therefore there are no anxieties, save that sometimes, due to consciousness, there is a feeling of compassion for those unaware of the process of devotional service who are subjected to unsurpassable miseries in the material world.
so here Shukdev Goswami is explaining Parishit Maharaj कि भाई सीधा वो भगवान पास नहीं जाता ऐसा पहला ही goes to Brahmaloka, that is through the Milky Way. Shishumra, that is that Milky Way, he goes there. That is Brahmaran से निकलने के बाद. Then he stays at Vaishwanara, where the fire god is there, deity of fire. Vaishwanara is called fire god, and he cleanses जो भी कचरा है. सोने को कैसा तपा के उसको साफ करते हैं, सोने को साफ करने का तरीका क्या, गरम करो, the rest everything burns up, what is left is gold. उसको तपा के गोल्ड प्योर करके then he goes to Brahmalok, जहाँ पे life is very high. And then at Satyalok, in Satyalok, what happens? People are very, very heartful. There is no old age, there is no death, there is no sickness, so there is no anxiety. But there is a problem. The problem is they are very compassionate. वहां से लोगों के ऊपर बहुत compassion आता है. अरे ये लोग भक्ति क्यों नहीं करते? They are suffering. We are all suffering in this material world. Happily, we are suffering. Knowingly, we are suffering. But we don't realize the relevance of divine devotion. Whereas this is what is happening. That they feel anxious and anxiety for someone due to their consciousness feeling of compassion for those unaware of the process of devotion service who are subjected to unsurplus miseries in the material world. Continue.
After reaching Satyaloka, the devotee is specifically able to be incorporated fearlessly by the subtle body in an identity similar to that of the gross body. And one after another, he gradually attains stages of existence from earthly to watery, fiery, glowing, and airy until he reaches the ethereal stage.
See, there are अभी भी हमारे अंदर कुछ ग्रॉस मटेरियल चीज बचे रहते हैं. So after reaching Satyaloka, the devotee is specifically able to incorporate fearlessly by the subtle body in an identity similar to that of the gross body. That means what? There is no separate gross body and there is no separate subtle body. It becomes one. जैसे भगवान का अलग से ग्रॉस बॉडी है नहीं. It doesn't have a body made of blood, pus, mucus, more. वो सब कुछ नहीं. सच्चिदानंद body. So becomes similar, and one after another, he gradually attains the stage of existence from earthly to watery, fiery, glowing, and airy until reaches the ether stage. Now let's understand this by a very simple example. आप लोग ने पुराने जमाने में, आजकल तो कोई भगवान के मूवीज आते नहीं, बट पहले जमाने में भगवान कैसे आते थे? ढिंग करके. एंड भगवान कैसे ग्लो होते थे? राइट, एफुल्जेंट. व्हाई दैट एफुल्जेंट? दैट इज दैट फायरी. द फायर एलिमेंट इज मोर. इसके लिए आप देवी देवता को भी देखोगे ना, आएंगे तो एकदम एफुल्जेंट लगेंगे. क्यों? द फायर एलिमेंट इज मोर इन देम. हमारे अंदर सब एक साथ मिला हुआ है. फायर, एयर, वाटर, एयर, अर्थ, ईथर, सब कुछ एक साथ मिला हुआ है. उनका सब अलग अलग स्टेजेस में. एंड देन दे फॉर्म ईथर. ईथर मतलब क्या है? दे बिकम कंप्लीटली सटल, completely different to what gross material level what we understand. Continue.
The devotee thus surpasses the subtle objects of different senses like aroma by smelling, the palate by tasting, vision by seeing forms, touch by contacting, the vibrations of the ear by ethereal identification, and the sense organs by material activities.
Continue.
The devotee, thus surpassing the gross and the subtle forms of coverings, enters the plane of egoism. And in that status, he merges the material modes of nature, ignorance, and passion, in this point of neutralization, and thus reaches egoism in goodness. After this, all egoism is merged in the Mahat Tattva, and he comes to the point of pure self realization.
Yeah, आज अगर physical class होता था, I would have explained much better. Please understand. The Brahmanda, each Brahmanda is covered by layers and layers of all these 7 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, everything. ego का लेयर है, सबका लेयर है. So एक एक लेयर को पास करते हुए that is why he is Shukdev Goswami is saying the devotee thus surpassing the gross and subtle forms of coverings enters the plane of egoism. I told you, layer after layer after layer after layer say. So then he goes to the highest layer, that is the egoism, and then that state emerges the material mode of nature, that is ignorance and passions. And in this point of neutralization, पहला वो अपना material nature of ignorance and passion छोड़ देता है. अभी भी goodness पूरा छोड़ा नहीं. In this point of neutralization, and thus reaches egoism in goodness. There are 3 egoism: egoism and passion, goodness and ignorance. तीनों में तो उसने पहले 2 छोड़ दिया, बट एक नहीं छोड़ा है. कौन सा? goodness का वाला egoism नहीं छोड़ा है. After this, all egoism is merged in Mahat Tattva. That is, that entire layer pe even his ego gets merged out, and he comes to a point of pure self-realization. Only the purified soul can attain the perfection of association with the personality of Godhead in complete bliss and satisfaction of his constitutional state. However, whoever is able to renovate such devotional perfection is never again attracted by this material world, and he never returns. वो स्टेज में पहुंचना. This is the form of liberation for a yogi. जो योगिक बल से अपना आप को लिबरेट करना चाहता है, पहले तो यहां से निकलना ही बड़ा सवाल है. यहाँ से निकल भी गया तो वहां जाके 7 लेयर को पार कर रहा है, अर्थली, वाटरली, फायरली, ऑल दैट लेयर्स। बाद में इगोइज्म भी छोड़ना है, देन ही बिकम्स फुल्ली प्यूरिफाइड। उसके पहले अर्थ लेवल में भी वैश्वनर प्लैनेट में फायर गॉड विल क्लेंस यू, ब्रह्मलोक में थोड़ा क्लीनिंग होगा, सत्यलोक में क्लीनिंग होगा, एवरी वेयर इट हैपेंस। योर मेजेस्टी महाराज परीक्षित, know that all that I have described in reply to the proper inquiry in the past is just according to the version in the Vedas and is eternal truth. This was described personally by Lord Krishna unto Brahma, with whom Lord was satisfied upon being properly worshipped. So what is he saying? This is a process given by Krishna to Brahma ji. When Brahmaji properly worshipped him, God became very happy and he gave him this process. For those who are wandering in the material universe, there is no more auspicious means of deliverance than what is aimed at the direct devotional service of Lord Krishna. तो हम लोगों के लिए जिसके पास टाइम नहीं है जो योगिक प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए, वो क्या करेगा? For him, there is no other process other than direct devotional service to Lord Krishna. The great personality Brahma, with great attention and concentration of the mind, studied the Vedas the three times, and after scrutinizingly examining them, he ascertained that attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the highest perfection of. भाई सब वेदा पढ़ लिया, सब ऑल डिटेल में वेदों के बारे में पढ़ लिया, एंड देन 3 टाइम्स पढ़ा, एक बार नहीं। वो कौन? ब्रह्मा जी। तो हमारे जैसे 3 लाख बार पढ़ेंगे तो भी हमको समझ में नहीं आता, वो ब्रह्मा जी ने 3 बार पढ़ा, मतलब सोचो कितना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है। एंड आफ्टर स्क्रूटनाइजिंग एग्जामिनिंग, मतलब सोचने विचार करने के बाद, he ascertained that attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the highest perfection of religion. The personality of Godhead Lord Krishna is in every living being, along with the individual soul, and along with the individual soul, and this fact is perceived and hypothesized in our acts and of sleeping and taking help with the from the intelligence. जब हम लोग सोएंगे या हम सोचेंगे, sorry, it's not sleeping, it's seeing, and we are seeing God in through our intelligence, then we can understand the existence of God in our heart. हम लोग नहीं तो परमात्मा देख नहीं पाते. Even if someone operates your heart, you cannot see a Paramatma. Operates your chest, you cannot see the Paramatma. But we can perceive him because it is a subtle form. We can perceive him just because we can use our intelligence. We can perceive the consciousness which is replying to our doubts and questions and again and warning us when we do something negative. That consciousness is the existence or proof of existence of what? Paramatma in the heart of every being. O King, it is therefore essential that every human being hears about the glories and remembers the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, always and everywhere. इसके लिए भगवान को हर जगह सुनना और याद करना. 2 things. That is a Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam, listening. Kirtanam means जब तक आप सुन के उसको याद नहीं रखोगे, you cannot know use. That is why people attending Bhagavad Gita class, Bhagavatam class, Ramayana class, they attend. अच्छा था क्लास, बहुत बढ़िया. How many times did you remember, recollect, and contemplate on it? Unless until you don't contemplate on it, is of no use. Therefore, those who drink through the oral reception, fully filled with nectarian messages of Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material employment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of him, the personality. इसके लिए finally क्या करना है? We have to पिबति ये भागवतः आत्मनः सताम कथामृतम, पीबती, पीबती मतलब पीना, कहां से पीना है, ये कान से पीने वाले काम, मुंह से नहीं. We drink from the mouth, whatever water, juice, whatever you want to drink, we drink. But here he is saying, पीबती ये भागवत आत्मा नाम सता कर्णामृतम, ये कर्ण का अमृत, ये कानों के लिए अमृत. And that is how you can ever plan or think about going back to. So I think I've completed the second chapter of Canto 2. So we'll start with the third chapter next week. Okay, with this, I'd like to close today's session.